Guys, I have a new guitar, and not only does it look incredibly cool in this keen green gloss finish, it also plays so well, it sounds so good, and it was so inspiring to me that I wrote some riffs. Let's take a listen. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. So that was the Vola Keene Machine, this guitar over here. Such a beast of a guitar. Through my ENGL Fireball 100, and that amp was fed into my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12, in which I had loaded up the Eminence Karnivore speaker that I wanted to try out. Sounded pretty massive, right? Anyway, so this is the very first time that I've ever owned a Vola guitar. And I didn't really know what to expect. At 42 Gear Street, I did try some of their guitars, and I was really impressed by the craftsmanship, but I didn't get a lot of time with them. So they sent me this guitar, the Keene Machine. This was the one that I was the most excited about for a couple of reasons, which I will get into. One of them being the fact that this guitar has a floating tremolo. And as of right now, it's the only guitar that I own with a floating tremolo. So that is really fun. I really wanted to get back into that floating trem action, if you will. But obviously this thing is very eye-catching and eye-popping. Really pops on camera. Henning had one in his studio, and it immediately caught my eye. So I was very excited about this guitar for that reason to begin with, because of the color and just the way it looks. Really extreme, if you will. And I like that. And I must be honest with you guys, I'm completely blown away by how good this guitar is. Now, what is this guitar? Well, the Keene Machine by Vola Guitars is the signature model for Michael Keene, who's the guitarist of The Faceless. I wasn't really familiar with their music, so I took a listen and really enjoyed what I heard. He's a great guitarist and a very technical player too, so that style requires a lot of quality and precision, right? And this instrument definitely delivers. This is made in Japan. So, you know, it has great craftsmanship, which we will get into, but it also plays so well. And by the way, if you want to get yourself a Vola guitar, check out my link in the description below, as that is an affiliate link, so I will get a little percentage of that. That really helps out the channel. And use the code SDS5 to get 5% off of your purchase. So yeah, let's take a quick look at the features that this guitar has, okay? So again, this has the keen green gloss finish. Again, I can't stop looking at this finish. The color is so cool. It's one of the coolest looking guitars because of that in my collection right now, in my opinion. It's an alder body. The resonance is great. I've owned some guitars in the past with floating trems, and in some cases, the guitar just sounded a little bit dead and not really resonant and not deep enough for my taste. Luckily, this guitar sounds absolutely massive, and it's really resonant, despite the fact that it has a floating trem. So that is awesome. I didn't do any upgrades or anything like that. So this is just the stock trim, which, by the way, is a Gotoh trim. So it's not actually a Floyd Rose. It's a Gotoh 1996 T. And yeah, I just wanted to get a guitar with a floating trim again because I wanted to be a bit more expressive and play around with that, okay? And by the way, when I got the guitar, I strung it up with Elixir, a set of 10s, tuned it to drop C sharp, which is my favorite tuning. And when it all was set up, it plays so incredibly well, and it stays in tune really well as well. Setting it up took a bit of time because it's a little bit more work to get a tremolo like this set up perfectly. But now that I have it all set up, it's just super stable and a lot of fun for sure. Anyway, back to the features. So we have an ebony board with 24 medium jumbo frets, nickel frets, so not stainless steel. The inlays are pretty cool. These are loom inlays, is that the correct word? At least they are glow in the dark, so that is nice. And then the neck is a 3-piece maple neck satin finish, so it feels super comfortable. The neck is incredibly fast. Not the thinnest neck I've ever played, but it is a bit more stable because of that. But having said that, it's still very fast and comfortable. Definitely far from a thick neck. Of course, this guitar has a bolt-on neck construction, and the neck has a 25.5-inch scale, so that is great for tuning down a little bit, which is what I'm doing, obviously. I love how the finish is on the headstock as well, and the headstock shape is just really cool, really metal and sharp looking, with 6 tuners over here, and of course, a locking nut. In terms of the playability, it's quite a comfortable guitar. This cutaway over here is really comfy. You can easily reach the top frets over here. There's a nice belly cut over here as well. And this unique sort of Vola shape. That makes it a bit more unique than your standard average Super Strat. For the controls, we have one volume control and a 5-way selector switch. And that means that you can get a lot of sounds out of this guitar. When you have the volume control pressed down, you're on voice 1, which is the active voicing. And when you pull it up, you get to voice 2, which is the passive voicing. Sounds a bit more dynamic and thick in the low end. And with the 5-way selector switch, you get a lot of options. So position 1 is just the bridge pickup. Position 2 is the inner coils of both pickups. Position 3 is both pickups at the same time in humbucker mode. Position 4 is the neck outer coils, so kind of like a single coil neck pickup. And then position 5 is the neck pickup in its full glory. And then obviously if you pull this control, you get a lot of variation. And I am going to show you guys all the sounds that this guitar is capable of later in this video. The cool thing about the Fishmans, which I've really grown to love, is those voicings, right? The active voicing sounds very tight and precise and is a lot of fun to play. And then the passive voicing is more thick and more dynamic, more like a passive pickup. So it's awesome to have that all in one pickup. And I love that so much that I wrote another song with this guitar. So the first one was on the active voicing, and this next song is on the passive voicing. So let's take a listen to that. Same setup, basically, with some small tweaks on the amplifier. Take a listen. All right, that sounded great. So a bit more dynamic, a bit more definition for the high strings, and a bit more thickness in the low end, right? So that is cool. One thing that I will say about the Fishman pickups is that they sometimes are a little bit more noisy than other pickups that I have. So they have a bit of a higher noise floor than, say, a Seymour Duncan or something like that. That's something that I've noticed with all my Fishman Fluence guitars. It's not a big deal, but something to take note of. All right, now let's plug into my Fireball 100 once again and try out all the different pickup combinations. Hey guys, I'm sitting here with my Vola, the Keene Machine. What a beast, right? We're going to explore some tones that this guitar has to offer, and these Fishman Fluence modern pickups, of course. In terms of the signal chain, the guitar is being fed into my ENGL Fireball 100, my workhorse amplifier, because it always just works. And in my Grossmann Fatbox ISO cab, I've loaded up the Eminence Karnivore speaker, just because I wanted to try that speaker. And I think it sounds really good. All right. So again, Fishman Fluence modern pickups. Right now I'm on the bridge pickup with the active voicing. Sounds very nice and tight. So yeah, it's really addicting. And I've really come to love the active voicing. Now, if we pull up the volume control, we get the passive voicing. It's more dynamic, thick in the low end. Back to the active voicing. And passive. Yeah, so the low end is a bit more hefty, right? So in the first demo song, I used the active voicing. And then in the second demo song, I switched over to the passive voicing. First, I'm going to try all the pickup positions with a distorted tone. And then we're going to do a clean tone as well, because we have a 5-way selector switch. And of course, these two voicings. So you have a lot of tones in this guitar. All right, we're going to start on the bridge pickup, once again on the active voicing. So voice 1. And then I'm going to move through all the pickup positions. So let's start. Position 1. That's position 1. Let's go to position 2. All right, now let's go to position 3. Position 4. And position 5, which is the neck pickup by itself. All right, so that's everything on the active voicing. Now let's go to voice 2, so the passive voicing, and do that again. So voice 2 on position 1. Position 2. It's definitely more single coily sounding. Position 3. Position 4. Nice and throaty. And then the neck position, so position 5. And back to position 1 on the active voicing. Now I've switched over to the clean channel with some slightly different settings. I'm going to do a simple chord and let you guys hear the difference. Okay, so starting off again with position 1 on the active voicing. So voice 1. Position 2. Position 3. Position 4. It's much more quiet, right, than the full humbuckers. And that's the neck pickup. Now let's go to the passive voicing, voice 2, and do the same thing. Position 2. Position 3. Position 4. And position 5. So there you go. The Keene Machine by Vola. All right, so this guitar has a lot of tones in it. I must admit that I'll be living on the bridge pickup either on the active voicing or on the passive voicing for most of the time, let's say 95% of the time, but it's great to have all those options in case you need them. So it makes this a very versatile guitar for sure. The fretwork on this thing is absolutely incredible, absolutely perfect. You can get the action as low as you want without fret buzz, and it's so comfortable to play. The fret edges are really nicely finished, if you will. So it's a joy to play. And with the fact that this neck is satin as well, that just makes this such a nice playing guitar. It also sounds really good. As I mentioned, you know, it just, for a floating trem guitar, in my experience, it sounds very thick and rich with plenty of sustain, plenty of resonance. So I was also very pleasantly surprised about that. I like the design a lot. When I first saw this guitar, I had to get used to the inlays a little bit. Those are very unique, obviously, but now that I'm very much used to it, I like it. The finish is incredible. As I mentioned, it just pops on camera, as you can see. So yeah, it's just an incredible, incredible guitar. And I'm having a really hard time thinking of things that are negative. You might not like the look of the guitar. You might not be a fan of Fishman Fluent's modern pickups, even though I think that they are very versatile and most people should be able to get good tones out of these pickups. You might not like the fact that it has a floating tremolo, but if you're into those things, then you're gonna love this guitar. And as you may have seen in my unboxing video, this guitar also comes with a very nice gig bag, a very solid gig bag, and a certificate of authenticity, and some tools and stuff like that. But yeah, honestly, this made in Japan Vola guitar is absolutely flawless. What else can I say? One cool thing in comparison to a Floyd Rose guitar that I had is this system. So the system of getting the bar in and out. You don't have to mess with a little ring thing that you have to screw tight every time. You just put in the bar. And then there's this little Allen wrench thing over here. You probably can't see that you can use to adjust how tightly the tremolo bar is in the pocket holder. Again, I love this guitar. I can see myself using this for many, many years to come because it's just so much fun and so good. So I really recommend checking out some Vola guitars for yourself on the Vola Guitars website. And if you were to buy one, definitely be sure to use my affiliate link as that helps the channel out. I'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to use my discount code SDS5. Thanks so much to the folks at Vola for sending me this guitar. Really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on the sound of this guitar, on the look, and on the features? I'd love to know. And also please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as that really helps the channel out. I'd really appreciate it. And of course, you can also follow Sonic Drive Studio on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hope to see you soon. Cheers.